Hi guys, this is Valerie Van Boeven, and we just had a huge amount of people on this webinar, and guess what I didn't do? I didn't record it. So here is the abbreviated version of our webinar. Hello, my name is New Hire, and we're going to talk today about caregiver recruiting and some of the things that we found. So recruiting survey results. Boy, we learned a lot, and we sure did, and we're learning still every day. And we do have a beta program going on with some of our clients, and we welcome you in that beta program, but I'm going to show you what we've learned so far. So we did a survey of about 15,000 people, and we came up with, not everybody answered us, but we had a nice selection of folks. This is very informal. How many caregivers do you currently employ? So you can see the answers there. A few had 1 to 10, some had 20 to 30, 31 to 50. The big winner here was 51 to 80 caregivers employed. Do you have one person who is designated to handle hiring? And by that I mean you're the owner, the marketer, the recruiter, the staffer. That's not one person handling it. So I mean, do you have a human person whose job function is staffing and HR or scheduling and HR or whatever? Do you have a person that's designated to follow up with these folks? And the overall answer was yes. And some people said no, and they probably are smaller agency, and that's okay. How often do you interview? Big answer here. The winner is more than once a week. And I would say for most home care agencies, that's probably true, unless you're just starting out. How do you follow up with candidates? So the answers that you could select were call and email one time, call and email multiple times, call only, or text. We did have a few people put in the notes that texting, especially for the millennials, was a better way to get them to communicate than calling and emailing, but the big answer here was calling and emailing multiple times. What makes recruiting hard? Lack of qualified candidates was the winner here. And I think that is true, but I also think that there are some other issues behind that. Lack of candidates, turnover rate, paying competitive wages, and other. How much money do you spend on recruiting per month? I want you to think about something here. It's not just how much you're spending on online advertising, it's also how much you're spending in time wasted. So the time it takes for the employee who's responsible for this to follow up with people who never call them back. How many hours a week are they spending on that? How many hours a week are they spending on setting up interview times and then the person doesn't show up? So you have someone who's dedicated to recruiting and staffing, but that person is wasting man hours because nobody shows up for their designated time slots. So we had a lot of answers here, and I'm not sure how people perceived what I asked. But this is one of the winners here, spending $500 or more. And I would imagine if you're billing at $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, you probably are spending way over $500 a month. How many candidates must express interest before one hire is completed? The answer was 6 to 10. What are the greatest challenges with your home care business today? The winning answer here, caregiver shortages. And we kind of knew that going into it, but definitely the winner. Is recruiting caregivers a current problem for your company? A major problem was the winning answer. Have you had to turn down clients for lack of caregivers? A few times is the winning answer, and this is a key issue for our growth as the second biggest answer. And either way, this is a bad news thing. We don't want to have to turn down clients ever, so this is a great column to be in, and we don't want that to be a key issue for your growth. Are you seeking or interested in examining alternative caregiver recruitment methods? This is a top priority, was a winner, and so today we're going to present to you some of that opportunity. So there's a guy named John Hale. I found his article on the Des Moines Register, and his is his bio. 60-something startup who's a contributor to A Better Iowa. He owns the Hale Group, a consulting and advocacy firm that provokes thought and action on aging and caregiving issues. These are some of the things that he said in that article that I thought were pretty thought-provoking and interesting. The reality is that high-quality direct care workers are priceless. They possess talents and skills that can't be taught: compassion, caring, patience, tolerance, and empathy. And they have the willingness to perform difficult work that most highly educated professionals would not and could not do: assist, support, and nurture their fellow human beings who desperately need help. Shortage of qualified caregivers. Pay a livable wage. Offer meaningful orientation, mentoring, and ongoing training, and offer an attractive benefit package that includes paid time off, health and retirement benefits, childcare support, etc. Not everybody's going to be able to offer all of these, but you can always offer meaningful orientation, mentoring, and ongoing training. No matter how big or small you are, you can do some of this. Treat these employees like valued members of the care team. Involve them in problem solving and decision making. Recognize and celebrate their contributions. Caregiver of the month, caregiver of the quarter, caregiver of the year. All of those things, no matter how big or small you are, you can afford to do. Create career ladders so workers can grow in the profession, learn more, and perform better. When I was first a registered nurse, way back in the dark ages of 1992, I worked at a local giant hospital, and one of the things that we could do to accelerate our pay and our status was to create or to complete something they called the career ladder. And it wasn't something you could do overnight. It took 6 months to a year to complete all the things that were required in that career ladder binder. And yes, we had to do it in a binder, not online. So I collected all my junk in a binder for all the career ladder steps and completed it and turned it into my head nurse, and I got, a raise and some other things. So career ladders are worth it, and they still are worth it today. So we have bricklayers, electricians, firefighters, and many other occupations that feature apprentice and training programs that lead to journeyman or master status. Direct care can and should do the same. Educators, counselors, employers, and others should promote the caring professions to students and re-careering adults as worthy jobs that make a real difference in people's lives. The caring professions need to become cool and well regarded as science, technology, engineering, and math. Not everybody's going to be a rocket scientist, so we need caregivers. We will always need caregivers. We need to treat them as if they are valued members of society and pay them as such. Finding candidates. Okay, the challenges. Now, this is some of the stuff that our clients and others and things that we've learned over time came to us. So the challenges in finding candidates. First of all, everyone is using the same methodologies. So Indeed, My CNA Jobs, Craigslist, Career Builder, local job boards. And these are all viable. They're just fine. There's nothing wrong with them. And we don't profess to want to be the next Indeed.com or My CNA Jobs. These people have built businesses that are really good and really nice, and they do a great job. We don't want to replace that, but we want to use those to our advantage in the right way. Some applicants, this is another one, some applicants may be trying to satisfy their unemployment status by applying but never responding to follow-up calls or emails. Now, personally, I've never applied for unemployment benefits. I've owned my own business for 10 years, so but I do know that when you're on unemployment, you have an unemployment counselor, I believe, and or something similar to that, and you have to prove that you're actually looking for a job. So they're only going to approve your unemployment as long as they know you're actively seeking work, and so you have to apply for stuff. I don't know how far that goes or what the proof has to be. But I'm going to guarantee you that some of these people are responding to these ads on the online, and they have no intention of ever following up. They're just trying to satisfy some criteria. When directed to fill out forms on your website, so when an applicant is directed to your website to fill out a form or ClearCare Online or whatever it is you have, they don't do it. They just don't follow the directions. And I think that part of it is laziness, and I think part of it is that they are looking at job boards, job applications, job stuff on a mobile device. They don't have a printer at home. They're not going to have a printer at home, and they may not even have a computer or a laptop. They have a tablet, an iPad, an iPhone, Android phone, and that's the extent of what they have to look at. And they may not be able to fill out your applications online, or they may not be able to if you take a look at your own pre-screening form or application online on your own website, look at how complicated it is on your phone. Maybe that's why they haven't filled it out. Younger generations will often respond better to text than email or phone calls, which makes folks like age 46 and up kind of crazy like me. I think that's crazy that people don't answer their phones, but you know what I find? I will let my phone go to voicemail more often than not, and I will answer a text much more quickly. So it's just kind of the world we're in right now. But you know what? I'm also of the age to know better than to ever respond or try to respond to something with a text as far as a job. So I would always want to respond to an email or a phone call for a position, not by text. But our younger generation may not know that. Caregivers used to need us, meaning you, the home care agency, but now the table has turned. We, meaning you, the home care agency, needs them more than they need us. So they know that. So you need to be really super creative. Have you thought about recruiting older adults? We have, and they are more responsible, responsive, and dependable. Money and time wasted. So think about how much time and money you're spending on recruiting, and not just the amount of money you're spending on ads, but the amount of physical personnel time that is wasted on this, and add up the numbers. How much do they make per hour, and how many hours did they waste this week? So many home care agencies report that time is wasted on the following, and this includes money. Following up with unresponsive candidates who have expressed interest, setting up interviews but the candidate does not show up, interviewing and hiring the candidate but they never turn in the required forms. They turn in the forms but they do not attend the required training or orientation. They attend the orientation but never accept any assignments or hours. They accept assignments or hours but quickly get fired for no-shows or calling off too frequently. In the state of California, getting fingerprints seems to be an issue. So, following up with unresponsive candidates, setting up interviews and interviewing and hiring the candidates, these processes on the upfront are things that we can tamp down a little. The stuff on the back end with paperwork and assignments, maybe there needs to be a thought process behind how to make that better. And anyone who does this for a living is rolling their eyes right now, but for, because you probably tried everything, but there has to be something that hasn't been tried. There's got to be a way to get through. Okay, following up. What is your process versus what is really happening? How fast is follow-up? Are you following up the same moment as the response? So if someone responds to a job ad, are you boom, right on it? Are you following up within an hour, a day, a week? Responsiveness is key. It's just like a home care lead. Responding quickly to any applicant is super important. And following up nicely with a smile on your face, even though you're totally burned out. Follow up by text, email, phone call, and follow up right now with a smile on your face. Setting up an interview. Can they come in today, tomorrow? Do they need transportation? Do you need to send an Uber to get them and pay for it? Is lack of transportation a red flag? Maybe you don't want to send an Uber because that was not someone you wanted to hire anyway. Are they currently employed? Maybe they need to do some after hours interviewing or something like that. Can you suggest that you might make an offer they can't refuse? You don't have to say anything weird. Just say, hey, we've got some really neat things going on here in the office that you may not have experienced before with our employees. We do some really special things, and we'd love for you to come in and learn more about them, blah, 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 blah. But you need to have some special things if you're going to say that. And back to Uber for a second. We've had some caregivers respond that they do not have transportation, that they Uber everywhere they go, and that's becoming a bigger and bigger deal in major metro areas. So, if you can use someone who isn't going to drive people around, and you can use them as a caregiver, companion, or whatever, then that might be the answer. Grocery stores deliver now, so maybe we don't need to run every errand. You're still going to need people who can drive, but how much of that can you give up once in a while? Track the challenges to find solutions. So here's my recommendation of your current recruiting program. Let me ask you this. Was your program for recruiting developed 11 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago? Maybe based on this generation and this work ethic that we have right now, the recruiting needs to change a little bit, needs to be updated, needs to be made, I don't want to say more fun because that just sounds ridiculous, but maybe there's some other things that need to happen. So, analysis of existing recruitment program, collect data and identify your current components. What are you currently doing? And how much is it costing you in man hours and in ad hours? Discuss implementation of a recruiting program with a team, including the following program components. Benefits-focused advertising. If you can offer benefits, make sure you say it. Caregiver referral programs. You know, if you have a great caregiver, they may have some great friends, and you may be able to mine a gem out of those caregiver referrals. Telephone screening, interview process. What can you change or do differently? Interviewing techniques, credentialing, orientation, and building relationships with these people. What can you do to make them part of the family? Implement a refreshed program after you've gone through all this. Tools and collaterals you should have developed are a program overview with process charts and step-by-step implementation instructions. What a totally boring thing to do, but it's important. Training handouts, sample ads, and sample recruiting collateral. Get all of that taken care of. Whew. That sounds like a lot of work. And it is. Why? You need them more than they need you right now. Recruiting in 2017 is just like sales and marketing for new clients and leads. Advertise, follow up quickly, implement a company culture that is far better and more productive than the place they came from. You must be a more fabulous employer than the last guy. Our beta program. Okay, so we've been testing this with clients, and we will continue to test this in a beta. That it means that we're not giving any guarantees. For certain clients, we've implemented some recruiting programs online because online is the best thing we do. It's our gig. We get tons of respondents, and that's not a problem. We send those lists on to our clients, and now we know that we must set clear expectations early and often, not only for the people responding to the ads, but for the people who follow up on those candidates. It's not just the respondents who are not following through, it's the process at the home care agency sometimes, not always, that isn't working. And we want more beta testers, but here's the criteria. We need good communicators. So we want you to commit to 2 months minimum, provide us with one generic job ad or description, and it has to be for your local territory, so we need to know what those are. Turn off all current recruiting efforts online so that we can track accurate numbers. Commit to immediate follow-up with respondents. Commit to reporting to us what's working and what's not working. After all, this is a beta test. We need to know interviews, no-shows, age groups, and new hires. And this is an Excel spreadsheet. This isn't like a dissertation. Communicate with us weekly, and myself and Melanie will be in charge of this program. Remember that this is a beta test. We want the methods we use to be successful, but we can't guarantee it will work for everyone. So far, we are pleasantly surprised with our results, but we don't know that every demographic and every geography is going to produce the same results. So the cost of our beta program, and remember, we need good communicators here. It's a $495 setup fee and $495 per month for 2 months. After 2 months of pilot, the client can decide to stop or continue the current program or a mutually agreed on alternative program designed based on learning information from the pilot. So we're really flexible, but we want 2 months, and we only want people who are willing to put skin in the game, because when you have skin in the game, you tend to follow through. And plus, it's a lot of work on our end. We actually do some manual intervention with this stuff. We do not interview, we do not call, but we actually go through and select people that meet your criteria and recruit them for you. So, this is what we're looking for. If that's interesting to you, then I need you to email me at valerie@ltcep.com for a beta test agreement. I will send it to you. We can only take 10 agreements because that's all we have room for right now, and we want to make sure we're doing a good job for everybody. So we can take 10. We have 1, 2, 3 slots filled, I want to say, at this moment. And we will continue to look for more beta testers. So we will take up to 10 right now. When one drops out, we can always add in another one. But if you want to get in and get started on this, please email me and I will send you an agreement. Thanks everybody so much. And by the way, we had a great Q&A at the end of this webinar that I did not record. But it was awesome. And so I want to thank everybody who took the time to watch or be there for the original. And it was great. So we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.